How'd you go about researching a video like that? Because that's such a neat
like where do you
topic.
start?
Yeah.
So it
Pornhub,
originally
I
started
guess.
on this Instagram called McDojo.
Right.
And the term McDojo is kind of like, there was a lot of like strip mall karate dojos like in the 80s who would just teach whatever the fuck, and like the big trick is like the sensei, the master, would always be like, now I can never fight you because I would kill you, you know. And it's like, okay. And so like I had done martial arts, I'm black belt in taekwondo, did it for about 10 years, and then I took up Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I just love martial arts, I love fighting.
Right.
It's fun. And I started watching these videos and I was just kind of obsessed with it. I was like, this is fucking insane. And I remember I heard one of these instructors give this like speech to his students about how it's very important that I never fight, because that would be like bringing a gun, you know? And then like I thought about it, I'd been doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu a little while at this point, and I thought about how many times my instructor has just beat the shit out of me. So I was like, well, this doesn't really add up. And it was an interesting video. I remember I got an email after that video from, I don't want to say which martial art it is because then we'll get a bunch of comments about it, but someone claiming to be a master in a certain martial art, and he was like, here's how a fight between me and you would go, and he explained step by step everything I'd do and then he'd do. And it was like 4 paragraphs, and then I messaged him back being like, okay, where do you want to fight? Nothing.
So fucking funny.
Give me a time and a place. Yeah, because there was like the martial arts, and then there was the psychics as well, right?
Oh, the psychics.
I love that video.
Yeah.
That was depressing to make, because it just I
Well, they
thought
just
it
take
was
advantage of people who are in
like
really
at the start I was
tough
like,
positions.
this is so silly, and then after a while I was like, this is like really preying on like some of the most sad and hurt people. And so I really wanted to, then I thought, okay, this video is actually like, I should definitely make this, because it was just really shitty, you know. But I feel like that's what happens with a lot of internet stuff, like that, the fake martial arts and the influencer video, they're all like the same scam, you know. It's all finding these people who really want something and they don't really have a good grasp on what's missing from their own lives, and then taking advantage of it, you know.
I mean, that's kind of how a lot of cults prey on, like, you know, vulnerable individuals who are missing something in their lives. Because I did actually, because I did watch so John made a video kind of like doing a deep dive into influencer training courses, right?
Yes.
Where you did a bunch of influencer courses and you kind of like tested how effective they were. And I'm really interested in that, because did you see anything that, as a YouTuber yourself, you thought was like worthwhile advice, or was it mostly just kind of like surface level bullshit?
Ninja told me to dye my hair.
And you did do it.
And you did.
And you still do it to this day. So clearly that was a
And
solid...
look at that, now you're on Trash Taste, so it's worked out for you.
Like, no, like...
You can't possibly give someone the specific advice they would need in such a generic way. There's no way.
So I think
there's
the
no
problem
way.
is like a lot of these guys, they are incentivized to make you believe something, and if you do not get those results, that's proof that their shit doesn't work. But then like, so then they develop, you know, like the grind set, like, oh, it might not happen straight away, but you know, you keep at it and you keep buying these courses, and it's like, it's a very insidious thing, I feel like. In terms of like actual advice I got from it, I mean, I thought it was all garbage, but I do understand, like, I'm kind of an outlier with a lot of YouTube stuff. Like, I think if you were to give general advice on YouTube, I probably do none of it and succeed in spite of myself. You know?
I mean, you can only really give generic advice to a mass audience. You can't really give... Because I feel like everyone's journey and everyone's way of approaching it is so different. And
But there actually was a really interesting video by, I think it was Ludwig. And he was like, can I create a viral video from nothing? So not using any of his clout or any of his... And he actually did it. And so like there is like a kind of counterpoint to something like that, but what I'd say to that is like,
is it the one where he sent it to
yes
I know what he did.
But what I'd say is like, that's Ludwig, that is one of the most like creative and intelligent people in terms of making content.
He's smart because he figured out that streamers would watch videos if it's talking about them. So he just paid a streamer a bunch of money to get it in front of him, and of course he's going to watch it because it's like, this is why this streamer's a genius. Which is smart because he realizes that all streamers have egos, which is true.
I mean, I think it's interesting because I do think there is genuine advice that you can give to like be more successful on YouTube. Kind of Ludwig proved it, and I remember I've seen a video recently of someone who like tried to make a video to prove him wrong, only for that video to like blow up. So like by taking his advice. So you know, it generally you can do things to like put things in your court. The problem with courses is that by the time a course is finished and like done, it's like a lot of the information is probably out of date, you know, because YouTube is like constantly changing, and what is relevant and what works today is not going to work like I think 6 months down the line.
And it's like there's not stuff you can't do to improve your chances. Like, you know, develop a good thumbnail, develop like a compelling title, structure your video well so that people want to keep watching it. Like, it's not the concept I had a problem with, it's the industry that built up around it.
It's like you're seeing some of the videos
it's like self-help books as well. It's the same kind of spiel, you know. It's like you can do it. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. Did you have another point? Sorry.
No, that was it.
No, I totally agree. I think it's just like the way it was like, especially some of the influencers I saw in your video, the way it was marketed to be like, you do this, you will be guaranteed to make $10,000 or you can, you know, and especially seeing some of the ways that the cost breakdown was like sold to you, that I was like, they are being very generous with their numbers as someone who works in the industry.
This many views, X amount of time. If you just do that, and it's
I feel like ultimately, like the test of that video that none of them ever took me up on was just like, okay, release your actual success rates. Don't like cherry pick one person out of like 1,000. Show like the actual rate. And I said, if it's over 50%, I'll delete the video. And I would. 100% would. Never, no one ever took it up.
Of course,
I'd be amazed if it was over like 1%.
Completely.
Because like the thing about being a successful YouTuber, I think, it's not just having like one video that blows up, it's being able to like consistently do that, and that's like the fucking hardest thing.
That is the hardest part. I genuinely believe most people have one viral video.
I genuinely believe
because everyone has that thing they love that they probably have a really interesting insight on, right? Or hate, you know.
I think for me, and I can assume you guys as well, the most help I've ever gotten is just from those camera dudes on YouTube or lighting people who just give you, they're like, actually just do this, put these settings on your camera. I was like, that is so much more helpful than anything else I've been told. Because I can, you know, I feel like storytelling and that kind of stuff, yes, you can be told how to do it, but you really need to actually do it and kind of see what they mean, like when you hear all this stuff.
Try it out and like kind of
you make videos and you kind of get a feel for that yourselves, but like actual technical knowledge that is very helpful, and then like a deep dive into softwares or stuff that actually just breaks it down. That's all free and available on YouTube. And the best part is that we live in an age where if you have a very, very specific problem, you can just type in that exact problem and you will get a 5-minute walkthrough explaining how to do it.
Totally.
And that was so much more helpful than anything I'd ever saw of make videos you like, be positive, promote yourself.
It's always
like,
the channels with like 10 subsubscribers and a foreign accent, you know?
That
are like the most helpful. It's like, oh, thank God.
You mean like the Indian tutorials on math that they like online?
Those are goated. Those are goated.
Khan Academy.
It's the best. Somehow like an Indian tutorial about explaining some like complex engineering concept was way better than any of the lectures I got.
They just get, dude, I don't know how they do it. I was paying thousands of pounds for that, and some guy in India did it for free.